Hello, hello. Welcome back to Slightly Better, where we try to live a little bit better without freaking ourselves out and dismantling our entire life. I'm Kelly, and today I am talking about fitness. I'm not going to talk about fitness routines. I'm not going to tell you to work out, but I do want to share with you some absolutely life-changing things I have learned from committing myself to fitness for over 10 years now, and just some really important things that I've learned. Just a little background. I'm a personal trainer. I've been a trainer for 11 or 12 years now. And when I first started working out, like when I very first tried to get into fitness, I joined the YMCA and I would go pretty much every day. And it was cool. Like I didn't really know what I was doing. I would walk on the treadmill and like putz around on the machines. Like I really didn't know. And then I started going to kickboxing classes, not at the Y, but at a small kickboxing gym. I tried a few different ones, and then I found one that I stayed at for a while. And I don't think it was the best. I think it was the most affordable at the time, so that's where I stayed. And that was really fun for me. And I was looking to lose weight at first. I think I wanted to lose like 10 or 15 pounds. I don't know. I really had no handle on health or fitness or anything. It just wasn't something I was thinking about at that time. So I started going to the kickboxing classes because I thought like this will help me lose weight. And it did. It really did. Like I lost a lot of weight. I was going like every day. Anyway, while I was taking kickboxing classes, I realized like I really have no muscle. Like I've lost weight. I'm very thin, like a little too skinny for my personal taste. So I started going to the gym, lifting weights, trying to build muscle. That's when I became a certified trainer. I started working at Crunch. I stayed there for a few years and really got into lifting weights. In that gym at that time, I was like one of the only women in the weight room really lifting. This was like 2014. It wasn't a thing like it is now. And I felt so cool. Like I was like, I'm such a badass. Like I'm over here deadlifting. I'm doing all this shit. Meanwhile, I had my little gloves on, my little color coordinated outfits. And like, I look back and I'm like, how cute. How cute were you? But it was really that I had a situation back here that resembled a pancake a little too much. Okay. And I really wasn't loving it, especially after all the cardio kickboxing I had been doing for like 2 years. So I was like, okay, let me go on YouTube, try to learn what to do. Started learning about lifting, met some dudes that I would lift with at the gym. And yeah, I started seeing changes in my body, obviously, over time. I started learning about eating. Most of what I was doing was completely wrong. You know, you have to do that. It's part of the journey. So if you're early on in your fitness journey and you're like eating nothing but ground beef and rice, like don't worry, like you'll get over that. But yeah, so that's how I got started in lifting. Then I got really into kettlebells. I love some kettlebells. So that became my thing. Got certified in like Russian kettlebell training. Took a bunch of workshops, a bunch of courses, you know, just kept learning, kept training. I love fitness. Like I really started to develop a deep love for fitness and kind of rekindle the love that I had as a kid for physical activity. It's always something that I've loved. I've always been slightly athletic, not, or should I say I've enjoyed athletics. I'm not sure I've been athletic, but I've always enjoyed playing sports. I enjoyed being physically active. So I didn't really get into fitness for any deep reason other than vanity, right? Which is honestly a fine reason to get into it. If that's the reason people get into it, that's like, it doesn't matter why at first. I'm not here to be the judge and the jury on your reasons, okay? So my reasons were that I wanted a big butt and I wanted to lose a few pounds. So the things we're going to talk about today go far beyond aesthetics, far beyond what you look like, okay? I think we all know if we work out consistently, our bodies will change. It's pretty simple. But some of the things I've learned through the course of what we'll call my fitness journey are utterly life-changing. They've changed me as a person. They've opened my mind. They've made me an amazing parent. They've made me a better partner. They've made me a better person. And so I could list a million things that I've gotten from fitness that stretch far beyond the physical benefits. But for today, I'm just going to go for about 5. The first one is a pretty obvious one, and it's that you gain a sense of discipline when you commit yourself to something like fitness. If you have a goal, whatever it is it a bubble butt? Is it to lose some weight? Is it to do a bodybuilding competition, a powerlifting competition? Is it to just establish a consistent fitness regimen? Whatever it is, getting committed to fitness will give you structure and it will give you discipline. When you're trying to fit in your fitness in the midst of, a job or school or whatever else you have going on. At that time, I was just working a lot. I didn't have a kid yet. You gain a great sense of time management, energy management, prioritization. And if you're really committed, you learn how to show up when things are hard. And so that's where discipline comes in, right? And this is something that I'm always talking about with my daughter. We're talking about discipline a lot and what that looks like. And it's not doing what's told of you. It's not doing what you're told. It's doing what you have personally committed to, showing up for that, showing up for you, even when you don't want to, especially when you don't want to, right? Because I used to work at Crunch and my shift would start at 6:30 and I would work until 2:30. But then I was driving all over Staten Island teaching private piano lessons for the afternoon, and then sometimes going and teaching a kickboxing class at night. So if I wanted to get those workouts in, it had to be at 5 a.m. when the gym opened. That was really my only choice. So I'd wake up at like 4:30, get all my stuff together, prep my food, prep my lunch, get my workout in early, and just continue on with my day. And that wasn't obviously easy. At that time, I don't mind. I am a morning person, but for most people, that can be incredibly challenging. And a lot of the times it was incredibly challenging, but it really instilled in me the concept of effective time management, because I knew that I was committed to my goals, but there was only a tiny window of time I could really make it work on the weekdays. And so that's what I had to do. So I was able to set myself up with structure and really commit to that. And like anything, the more you do it, the more it becomes a habit. So now moving on in my life, I am a mom. I do work. I do have other things going on. I'm managing a lot of schedules. I'm managing a lot of projects. I'm managing a lot of things. And so thank me for establishing that structure and that commitment and that discipline early on in my fitness life, because it has carried over immensely. The second benefit that I've gained from fitness, which will pertain to anyone, and I'm sure it's going to pertain a lot to the women who are listening, but guys, I'm sure a lot of you experience this too, is that when you start training or working out for performance, you get really reacquainted with your body. So for me, I got really interested in getting strong. I was never interested in like bodybuilding or training for a certain aesthetic reason. Like once I started to like feel better about my body and just feel good in the gym and really started enjoying what I was doing, I stopped caring so much about or obsessing about like what I looked like and focused so much more on what my body could do. And if you trained with me at that time, you know that that was my mantra. Like, don't focus on what you look like, always focus on what your body can do. And I still stand by that. So for me, committing to fitness was able to shape how I related to my own body, and it gave me such a greater sense of respect and admiration for women, for myself, for my body, for what I'm able to do. It's carried over so much into the rest of my life, to the point where when I was pregnant and it became, time closer to giving birth, and people would ask me if I was nervous, if I was scared, how I felt, all I could feel was excitement. And I have chills right now thinking about it. I was stoked to give birth. Yeah, it was hard. Yes, I was in labor for almost 48 hours. I didn't get an epidural until about 36 hours in. It was back labor the whole time. It was excruciating. I'm not saying because I was fit, I was so tough and able to handle it. Absolutely not. I was losing consciousness between contractions. But I was excited because to me, this was it. Like, this is what I've been training for. This was my moment, my race. Like, this was it. And so I was so proud of my body for what it was able to do. And I think, obviously, side note, women, you should be proud of your body for what it's able to do, regardless if you're committed to fitness right now or not. But for me, I was so connected to my body, connected to my abilities, connected to the power that I knew I had physically, that childbirth didn't scare me at all. I was beyond excited. I would do it again tomorrow in the same exact way. I always say I wish I could relive those 2 days, because yes, it hurt, but man, like, there's nothing more exhilarating than doing something so incredibly hard and feeling so proud of yourself, whether it's childbirth, whether it's a powerlifting competition, or whether it's just staying committed to your fitness for an extended period of time. It gives you a great sense of pride, a great sense of connection to your body and your abilities as a person. And so when you're going through seasons where you're carrying an extra bit of weight, you might not be so quick to judge yourself, because you're like, well, yeah, I got a little pooch, but I can deadlift 300 pounds. What can you do? You know what I mean? Function over appearance has always been my thing when it comes to fitness. Thank goodness. I love feeling powerful. I love feeling capable. I love feeling confident that I can handle myself. If I need to pick up something heavy, I got it. Like, it just gives you confidence. When you know that you're able to do things physically, regardless of what you look like, you cannot help but feel confident. It becomes almost unreasonable to not have a greater sense of confidence when you realize what your body is physically capable of doing, regardless of what it looks like. I do want to cut in and say that there have definitely been times in my fitness life that I use the gym and use fitness in unhealthy ways to avoid problems, to avoid going home, or any slew of reasons. You know, early on in my fitness career, my life was a little unstable and I was making choices I wasn't necessarily proud of. And so the gym was like the one place that I was proud. And so I was kind of latching onto that, I guess, to make me feel better about everything else. And now I can fully recognize that. And I can confidently say I would never do that again. You know, and that was a big lesson learned, to recognize the things that you're using in your life, or that I was using in my life, to avoid life. So that's just one thing. I don't want to make it seem like we should all be obsessed with fitness and end up using it as a way to avoid other things going on in our life, or to use fitness to build confidence and avoid addressing issues that are draining our confidence. You know what I mean? The next benefit that I've gotten from fitness and committing to fitness for a long time is resilience. When you're putting challenges onto yourself deliberately, when you're giving yourself adversity to overcome, and then you overcome it, you're building resilience. It's plain and simple. I've been able to access the resilience that I felt maybe fighting for a heavy squat, right? When you have over 200 pounds on your back and you're trying to stand up with it, you need to access grit that you might not recognize yourself to have. You're going to have to be gritty as hell. You're going to have to fight for that rep. And there's no way that that mentality doesn't translate. When you're fighting for reps in the gym and then you go home and you have like an issue that you need to deal with, you're going to naturally start to access that gritty mentality. And so once again, I can say that that resilience helped me get through my pregnancy and my childbirth. When I found out I was pregnant, I was shocked. It took me a few days to come to terms with this, because it wasn't something that I had planned. And so it kind of brought me to my knees. It shook me to my core. It turned my whole life upside down. But luckily I knew that nothing could knock me down permanently. And I was so lucky to have support and an amazing partner that was nothing but excited. But, you know, it really rattled me. It really shook me. And it really made me dig deep to access what I knew I had, which was grit, which was resilience, to not only accept the fact that I was about to go through a pregnancy and have a child and become a mom and like take on a whole new life that I hadn't previously set out to take on, but it allowed me to recognize that I could take that on, and not only could I handle it, but I could thrive, right? That fact was already ingrained now in my mind, in my brain, in the way I think and the way I approach challenges. So resilience was there. And even though this shook me like nothing else, I came out more than on top. You know what I mean? Not only did I get through it and get through a pretty rough pregnancy, I'm doing an amazing job. I'm not afraid to say that. And I don't know if I would have been able to access that type of resilient mentality if I hadn't been so committed to fitness for so long. I don't know how many I've done so far, but this is going to be the final one. And I'll leave you on this note because maybe this is where I'll pick up on the next one. Committing to fitness in the ways that I have, and the flexibility that I've allowed myself to have over the years after coming out of that obsessive phase, have made me the leader that I am and the mom that I am. That can be for many reasons. I think the confidence that I've built from overcoming challenges, both in my life that I haven't put on myself and the ones that I have put on myself with fitness, overcoming those challenges has given me a greater sense of confidence. I am fully aware that I can handle pretty much anything. And so when parenting gets hard for me, as it does for all of us, I normally don't crumble. I'm not going to say I've never crumbled or never had like a really rough day. I've had many, many really rough days where I'm just like screaming into a pillow. But I do have the confidence that I can get back up and try again. And I also have the vocal confidence to speak on what I know to be right for myself, my family, and my daughter. Being a trainer for so long, you're a leader, right? You're leading your clients. They're trusting you to guide them to their goals. And, my clients are putting their trust in me, not only physically, like they shared so many things with me. They shared their life with me. They shared their secrets with me. I've found out about pregnancies before some husbands, like, you know what I mean? Like these people lean on me, and that really gave me a really great sense of leadership. And when it became time to be a mom, I took my role as a leader very seriously, and I take my role as a leader in my family and in my home very, very seriously. And I'm going to continue to talk about that in another episode or several, but I know that I'm leading by example no matter what I do. So my clients would see me go and take on continuing education, learning more about kettlebells or whatever it was I liked, signing myself up and competing in competitions, and either doing well or doing horrible, it doesn't matter. But me, I wanted to take those on, not just for myself, but to show people and show women that doing this can be normal, and taking on challenges, both physical and mental, it can be a normal thing, and it should be a normal thing, and it's a very beneficial thing. And so I'm fully aware that I'm leading by example in my home with my daughters. And that's not just with fitness, but fitness is what showed me that. So I'm aware that when I'm taking time for myself to do my workout, I'm showing my daughter what it means to take care of yourself. I know that when I'm addressing an issue with my husband or with my daughter, I'm showing her how we handle conflict. So it made me so aware of my role as a leader in my life in all the different and maybe non-traditional ways that you can be a leader. So fitness was really a training ground for leadership and integrity, as well as energy, right? Because I don't want to train somebody and act like I'm this expert, act like I know what I'm doing, and then go home and like live a sedentary lifestyle and not do anything. Like that's a lack of integrity. That's not how I want to be as a trainer, a coach, a person, a parent. That's not who I want to be at all. So it made me a better leader because it really showed me the kind of example that I want to set for the people who are looking to me for advice or guidance in any way. So yes, fitness will make you fit. It'll give you a nice juicy butt. It'll help you lose weight. It will lead you to a sense of community and so much more. But you have to be open to that. So if you're somebody who's like getting into fitness now, or you're in the thick of it, you're training for something, you're just trying to stay committed, I really want you to take what I'm saying and recognize that there is so much more to be gained than just muscle. And if you're open to receiving those lessons, you're going to learn them. And if you're open to living them, you're going to embody them. If you're, in the thick of that fitness journey right now, I want you to get excited about all the things that it's going to bring to your life, all the skills you're going to pick up, all the mental strength you're going to build, the physical strength you're going to build. Don't use fitness to hide, okay? Fitness is therapeutic. The gym is therapeutic, but it's not the only form of therapy. And that's not me saying go to therapy. It's me saying be open, ask questions. And as always, I'm starting to ramble. So I hope this helped in some way. I hope you took something from it. And I hope it can get you thinking about fitness as more than just a means to some gains and a nice bubble butt. See you next time.